Yo, what's popping everybody? It's your boy Lee Winston back with another video on this YouTube channel. And this is my first video that I record from Germany. Hooray. And I've been away for over 60 months. And now I want to show you my favorite moments of this year, just like some people do it in an old-fashioned way with vintage slides. Okay, not like that. It was an amazing journey with a ridiculous amount of impressions that I won't forget, and it wasn't easy to pick a personal top 10, so I picked 13, and more about my adventures right after the intro. Have fun. So I applied for a work and holiday visa in Australia, moved to Sydney, hustled a bit, and on this journey I met a lot of people, learned more about new cultures, yada yada yada, you know, all that stuff. I don't want to be all too cheesy. But by the way, if you haven't checked out my video about kebab in Sydney and coffee culture in Australia, I highly recommend you to watch it right after this video. Also subscribe to my channel to not miss out on any future uploads. So after some time working in Australia, I visited Japan. I visited Japan twice in a year. Like once after they opened the borders and another time during the summer. And this photo right here is probably my all-time favorite photo that I shot in Japan. And I have to be honest with you, this shot has been taken in 2022. It was early in the morning. I can recall that we woke up at 6 a.m. and I arrived there at 7 a.m. or so. The infamous Fushimi Inari shrine was almost empty apart from a few people walking there. And one of the few people that I saw was this Shinto priest who was casually walking through the many tories of the shrine. This was such a unique moment to me for someone who only experienced the quirky and loud shades of modern Japan. And it felt a bit like traveling back in time, if you know what I mean. Generally, visiting the shrine was a captivating experience. We walked up. If you have to choose one place in order to see the sunrise and avoid the crowds, I would rather recommend you to go to the Fushimi Inari shrine. I mean, yeah, the Arashiyama bamboo forest is also nice, but it is not even as close to being as mesmerizing as the shrine. And I mean, if you're lucky enough, you get the opportunity to see one of these Shinto priests or a few Shinto priests to practice their rituals. So let us head over to the next photo. And this photo was taken during my second visit in Japan. And this time I visited the Kyushu region as well as Fukuoka, that are famous for its cuisine and its pristine beaches. And actually this photo is far from being one of my favorite shots, but still I wanted to include it as it was one of my favorite moments this summer. There was one particular spot that I really wanted to visit. It is one of the most beautiful tories in whole Japan in my opinion, or let's say one of the most beautifully located tories. And this one distinguishes itself with its unique white paint as well as these little rocks in the background. This photo was shot at the Itoshima beach, or how the Japanese say, Palme Beachy. The rocks in the background are named cobblestones that are connected by a sacred rope. I mean, this shot is nothing special, I would say, as I have just to go there and hold my camera and release the shutter. But still, the sunset, the location, or generally the memories that I connect with this spot are unforgettable. Here we have a photo from South Korea that I really like. And I was in Seoul and Busan this summer, and it was so incredibly hot that shooting or traveling in general wasn't fun at all. Especially carrying that heavy gear and this sweaty and nasty backpack wasn't really enjoyable. But still I managed to take a few nice photos, such as this twilight scenery in the Gamcheon village, which is also known as the Santorini of South Korea because of the houses that were built on a steep mountainside slope. I think the Gamcheon village is even more beautiful during the evening than during the day. There's a different magic that unfolds in the evening, and the houses get the pinkish and bluish tones while the lanterns slightly illuminate the area. Alright guys, so let us head over to the next country, which is New Zealand. And I was in New Zealand for 7 weeks all by myself in a camper van. during the winter, yeah, it was lonely, it was cold, I wanted to hug someone, but because I was alone, I had a whole different vision on all these things. I wasn't distracted by anyone. I got all things for myself. I was able to take my time shooting photos, and yeah, I met a lot of sea lions, such as this one right here. Isn't he or she, oh, whatever, cute? Getting there was quite a hassle to Cape Palliser. I had to drive over 2 hours through a very steep and narrow mountain pass. It was very stressful, but I really wanted to see the many sea lions at Cape Palliser, that is especially known for the many sea lion colonies, as well as the red light as the light tower that is painted in red. When I arrived, I really had the urge to go to the bathroom, and I just sneaked behind a bush, and suddenly a sea lion was yelling at me, and I was so scared. This is when I realized that I have to be careful, because that whole place is surrounded by sea lions. Also, I am not a wildlife photographer. The longest focal length that I got is a 200mm, and I got another crop sensor camera, so I was kind of limited at 350mm in total. And shooting wildlife is not as easy as I thought. Just holding my camera in front of an animal and then just releasing the shutter is not everything. You really have to time its behavior and be patient. After chilling with the sea lions for almost 2 hours, I got a few decent shots, and this is one of them. I also got a few sea lions at Kaikoura on the South Island, but in my opinion, shooting the sea lions at Cape Palliser is much more of a pleasure, as the sea lions in Kaikoura are more aggressive in my opinion. There's actually not much happening on this photo, but wow, there's a car. And what is this? This photo was shot around half an hour after waking up on this beautiful campground on the South Island of New Zealand. Though this lake is not as popular or does not have that wanaka tree, it is a much calmer and less crowded place. Also, this must have been one of the best campgrounds. Though I have no idea if I even were allowed to stay at that campsite. It might have been illegal, but what I really love about this photo is the gloominess. It has been raining several days in a row, and I was so frustrated. I was like, what were you thinking when making the decision to travel New Zealand in autumn or winter season? Are you nuts? This leads to nothing. There's just rain. But this moment at Lake Hawea, this glimpse of sunlight, gave me the hope that the coming days are going to be better. Well, let us move further to my next photo, which is my ascension at Roy's Peak. This photo was taken the day after the previous shot, and I woke up at 3:30 or 4 a.m. or so. I don't really remember. I even had time to eat and prepare breakfast, as I can recall, since I packed all my stuff the evening before. I assume that this hike is going to be very demanding, as it was around 800 to 900 meters of elevation gain. Waking up at that time was a challenge, but it was still the lowest hurdle. What actually was the challenge was hiking in the darkness at 5 a.m. Although it was kind of scary to see these cows and their glowing eyes, and dangerous to hike up that steep mountain in the darkness, it rather felt like an adventure in my opinion. And I wasn't alone. There were many other adventurers that were on the way up to the summit, and I was able to see them through the slowly ascending head torches along the mountains. I arrived at the infamous lookout and looked into the distance. It was still dark, but the twilight slowly painted the sky all purple. A wide mountain panorama opened up in front of me, and I saw the clouds slightly covering the many lakes in the valley and started shooting. The person you see in the photo is actually me. This was important for me to have myself in the frame, and it could have been anyone in the frame, but I wanted to capture this moment for myself. So I've set the tripod to shoot intervals, and the camera continued shooting while I was running away from it. There's this infamous composition that you can find all over the internet. This one is slightly different though, showcasing the 3 little hills aligned in the center. What was also awesome was that I was able to witness a live proposal. Shout out to Bo and Christine. I wish you all the best for the future. This photo is less of a landscape shot and more of a portrait photo. It shows the beautiful Aoi watching the many mountains and waterfalls at Milford Sound. Milford Sound is from all of the places that I visited in the world in the top 3 of the most incredible landscapes. No cap. Never ever have I seen this many waterfalls flowing down the mountains like here. And we were kinda lucky to witness this place in good weather, since Milford Sound is known as one of the wettest places on earth. That's what she said. Always photogenicity, is that even a word? And her expression, as well as the beauty of this incredible landscape, makes it one of my favorite picks this year. This is me, the Hooker Lake and the almighty Mount Cook, the highest mountain in New Zealand. This photo was shot the same way I shot the previous selfie. I placed the camera on a high rock where I need to set it up in advance and then ran to the spot for posing. It took me, I believe, roughly half an hour to shoot the perfect selfie. Let us move over to the last New Zealand photo, which is also, I believe, the best shot that I've taken during the whole New Zealand trip. This is the famous Muller Hut that was built by the Everest legend Sir Edmund Hillary. I initially didn't plan to go there as it was too dangerous and not recommended as long as you had ice axes and crampons and a little bit of mountaineering experience. But I did it anyway, and I regret it initially. I got lost and even had to turn on the hiking app Komoot in order to find my way on the actual trail back. I'll be honest, that was quite dangerous and stupid. And as soon as I saw another person from the distance, I immediately waved my hand in order to give him a signal to wait for me. The person was probably wondering, like, how in the freaking hell did he get there? And what does he want from me? After some time, I reached him, and his name is Robin, and he comes from the Czech Republic. And never ever would I have thought to finish this hike, but he kept pushing me, as you can see. The hike was so challenging, and the views the best you can get from a hike, but I didn't even have the time to pull my camera out until I finally saw the hut. It felt like a big reward when I saw the rainbow surrounding the hut from the distance. It was so worth it. Alright, let us move over to the next destination, which is Australia, where I spent almost 12 months. I lived and worked there, and unfortunately I didn't see any kangaroos, which is kinda sad. But I managed to see probably the biggest desert or the biggest sand dunes in the southern hemisphere. And from the parking lot, we had another 30 minutes to walk to the sand dunes, and we used that time to shoot some awesome portraits, photos of the dunes, etc., etc. And I think prime time was when the sun rose slightly over horizon level. I departed my drone and really wanted to take that certain shot that I envisioned before arriving at this spot. Shooting the white sand dunes together with the endlessness of the ocean. This shot is so minimalistic since it's only showing the ocean and sand, apart from a few trails from the quad tires and the sun. There's nothing else. A very unique environment to capture. This shot was taken on our second day in Uluru, and we decided to visit the Walpa Gorge in Katajuta. This photo was not shot during special conditions or anything. We were already very tired from the sunrise missions from the previous days and just wanted to chill a bit. It was shot during a very sunny day, and shooting photos here was a real challenge. So shooting both sides of the mountains or rocks, I'm not sure how the indigenous people call it right there, but it's quite challenging unless you wait until the sun sets or come for early morning shots. It still looks fine, but there will be always one spot that has very bright light on it, and it's inappropriate to shoot only one side of the rock. Oops. There are generally a lot of photography rules and restrictions that need to be respected, and I really tried my very best to not break any of these rules, but sometimes it just happens that you just shoot something that is not supposed to be shot. So I'm sorry for that, dear Anangu people. So better come early or even later in the day to shoot this place, because truly amazing. Putting a person in the frame shows the real magnitude and scale of the gorge. Also, you could try to say something into the distance, because this place just echoes your voice back. This is not the regular Uluru shot. It could have been even more irregular if I visited Uluru while it was raining. Dad and I we had the opportunity, but we were not aware of the fact that rain at Uluru is a truly rare occasion that only might happen once in a visitor's lifetime. But instead of heading to the rock, we just decided to visit the rock the day after, which I still regret to this day. I mean, we still got a few decent shots, such as this one right here with the reflection of a puddle, but imagine Uluru with the waterfalls and the lightning bolt. Wouldn't be that insane? I won't complain any further. I mean, clean and still reflections are never a bad thing, and then if you manage to shoot a natural reflection in Uluru, this is even more incredible. Okay, now we finally come to the last photo, which is also my best photo that I shot during this entire journey. And this shot was really tricky to shoot at the same time. And I'm not an astrophotographer who's equipped with the fastest wide angle lens that is on the market, so I had to kind of improvise. As you can see, this is Uluru with the Milky Way in the background. And I just had a 14 to 30 mil f4, which is too slow for that kind of a shot. So I decided to use my fastest lens, which is a 35 millimeter 1.8 that I took with me, and I had to do a little workaround. So how I shot this photo is kind of unconventional, and I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. Someone in Glenorchy, close to Queenstown, suggested me this method. He told me that I should just take my 35mm lens and just take a panel shot, like shooting at least like 8 till 10 photos until I got like a horizontal or vertical frame, and then just stitch it all together in Lightroom via the panorama mode. Shout out to the real best one, aka Dihang, who suggested me to shoot it that way because it worked out quite well in my opinion. The real challenge was actually to shoot this kind of panorama photo in the pitch dark. It was really super dark, and the only thing you were able to see were the silhouette of Uluru as well as the many stars that were on the horizon. Like, I was able to see the Milky Way from a bare eye even better than the Sahara in Morocco. The sky was super clear. The only annoying thing about shooting astrophotos in Uluru is that you can't access it by yourself. Booking a stargazing tour is mandatory. Yeah, vacations in Uluru are super expensive. And these 4 days I spent there were the most expensive 4 days I spent in my entire life. I think I should do an Uluru on a budget guide. What do you think? So these were my favorite shots. Comment down below which photo you like the most. Most photos were shot during my solo travels, and although these photos show great moments, the moments I enjoyed spending most were the people I met on this amazing 60 months, who are Jeff, Sora, Shay, Dad, Brennan, Roman, Samsung Australia, aka Demons in Ichiban, Lou, Eve, Danny, me, Elisa, and all the other Vietnamese people I met in Sydney. Lars, Liz, Sean, the team from Montbell, and Larry Adler, my dear landlords Jen and Joe, Ignacio, Isaac, Shiori and Yuka, Mitch, Nambrizi, Sabrina, my sis, Aya and Chaveni, Aoi, Robin, Cyril, Jimmy and Emma, Anissa, and all the other people I met on my journey. Thanks for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to not miss out on future videos. Sorry for mentioning it a second time, but it is how it is. Please push the algorithm. Please also donate to my donation account and send me letters to the provided mail address. Even if you don't like me or enjoy these videos, please still send me letters. Follow me on Instagram, MySpace, Facebook, OnlyFans. What else is there? Also become a patron to benefit from exclusive content that I can't provide at the moment. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Have a great 2024. And yeah, see you next time.